What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some Planet Coaster. We are returning today after a few weeks of a hiatus to Silverwood Park. Silverwood Park is my creation of a park very similar in tone to Silver Dollar City and Dollywood, hence the name. It's a combination between, Silver Dollar City and Dollywood. It's Silverwood. We're getting a look right now at Wildfire Express. This was the last coaster added into the park during the last stream, so I showed all of that off right there. I still haven't done a proper POV video. I'm gonna try to get to that next weekend, and I'm also going to give you a POV of this next thing that I am going to show off to you. But to get to it, we're going to have to go up the mountain. So there's two ways to get up the mountain. If you guys have been following this series, you know there is a ski lift or a chairlift that goes up to the top of the mountain at the very beginning of the park in the plaza. There is also this path right here that takes you up. And this is only one of the many paths that will take you up to the top of the mountain. My thinking is originally what the park was it had this kind of entry plaza, kind of like a ghost town in the very beginning down at the bottom of the park. And then you took the chairlift up to the top of the park where the actual rides were. Over time, the park developed into what it is today. It is going to be a much bigger park, a bigger amusement park, so to speak. They eventually added on to the right-hand side, to the left-hand side, and then they've kind of spread out around the mountain all into this area, and that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking has happened over time. So you guys can kind of use your imagination on what you think maybe has happened over time. I don't really have any kind of timeline or anything for the park. Nothing like that. I haven't really thought that far ahead. But I am trying to do... Oh, I just now noticed this land right here is a little off. I'll have to fix that. But I am wanting to show off the park's newest coaster as far as what's just been added to the park. So I've been working around at the back of the mountaintop back here. You guys can kind of see a few things coming into play right now, but one of the first things I want to show you is this area up here that we've been kind of tweaking over the last little bit. I want to say a huge shout out to Thrill Rider 247. He helped me actually finish the layout of the ride because I was a little stuck on it during one of my live streams. I was like, I'm just not sure how this is going to work. And through a little bit of work and a little bit of cooperation between me and him, we figured out the best layout. He was basically kind of giving me ideas of you should do this, you should do that. And as always, I don't typically take most advice. I always kind of go my own route, but I did end up using some of his ideas. So you never know. That's the thing with me. Sometimes you guys will give me ideas, and I will be like, that's a good idea, but it's not really kind of fitting for what I want to do. And then other times you guys will give me advice, and it'd be like, you know what? That's excellent. I love it. Let's do it. This coaster kind of developed between just a little bit of work between me and him. And anyway, so I guess I should talk about what we're looking at. Right now, this is the coaster tentatively titled Mountain Twister. I don't know if I'm going to keep that name or not. It's something I came up with as I was getting ready to film. I also tweeted out to anybody out there who has any better names for this coaster to definitely, give me your ideas. You can also throw those in the comments below or head over to my Twitter. If you're not already following me on Twitter, I would very much appreciate that. I'm only got about, I seem to stay right around 300 followers, and I'd like to see if that could go up to 400 within, maybe the end of the year. Anyway, so Mountain Twister is what we're calling it right now. That's kind of a play off of Tennessee Tornado a little bit. Since we don't specifically know where the park is located, and, I'm not going to specifically put it in a location. I'm going to say it's in North Carolina, or, it's in Tennessee, or anything like that. No, I'm just going to be like, yeah, it's just, it's a park. It's a rustic park somewhere in the U.S., possibly in the Blue Ridge Mountain area, possibly. But anyway, it's more Appalachian, I guess. So yeah, that is kind of what I'm thinking for the name right now. I mean, it may stick it's not bad, and I kind of like this little logo that I've coming up with it. But I don't know. For me, it seems simple, and you know me, I'm not big on simple. But anyway, so this is the main queue station. So let's show off a little bit of this before I actually show you the coaster. We have a little area over here for like the trucks and stuff to kind of come over here, and then we also have some transfer track in there that I'm currently working on. It's not finished yet, transfer track wise, but this would be, the truck would come down here, and then they would load the trains onto the truck and take them for maintenance or whatever, take them back to the maintenance sheds, etc., etc. And then I've placed down some benches and stuff in here. Now, eagle-eyed viewers may recognize kind of the idea for this station, and I got it from Maverick at Cedar Point, specifically the hitching post area. It was a picture that I had in my park porn folder. For those who don't watch the stream, my park porn folder is where I have a ton of photos and stuff that I find online of amusement parks or things that I think would be good for roller coaster designs or building designs, anything like that. I throw it all into one folder, and occasionally I go through and look through it when I'm feeling kind of in a block of creativeness. But anyway, so yeah, this is kind of based off of, it's slightly based, loosely based off of Maverick in this little particular area of Cedar Point. And one thing I added that some of you guys who were watching the live stream will notice is I've added a few different things here to it. Mostly just little details. The naming, I've added the benches, some more trees, the fencing all around this area. You know, because you get a great view of the entire park from over here, because you're literally on top of the mountain up here. It's not the tip-top part, but I mean, it's pretty high up. So once I finish out with kind of getting the rest of this area back in here, you'll see more of the amusement park down there. It'll make for some excellent views, I think. I also added this little like steps and stuff hidden up here, and it seems like our guests really love to re-ride Mountain Twister over and over and over again, because they will come out of the exit and they immediately go up here, and they will head over there to the Condor ride, which doesn't have a name just yet, or they will go, as you can see here, back into Mountain Twister. So this is a look at the queue station here, as you can see. I'm not sold on this particular building just yet. That's why I haven't put a whole lot of detail into it, you know. But I'm kind of okay with it. It's all right. It doesn't need to be much, I suppose. It's only a queue building. I also haven't like put the square edges and stuff on the queue path there. But basically, you would enter here into the queue line, and then you would step across the bridge, and you guys can kind of get an idea here of the coaster from here. But yeah, so I was trying to also add some like supports to hold up the walkway there, and I'm going to be adding some more onto that as well. It's not completely done yet as far as walkways. It obviously needs more support. But let's get an idea of the building. Just let's take one more look at the queue building here before we head on downstairs. And we're not downstairs, but we head and get a look at the actual coaster, because we're going to have to go to the back of the mountain to actually see the coaster, because it's all quite hidden back in these trees, much like Tennessee Tornado is. But yeah, if you look in here, it's really hard when you're working with some of these sometimes to get the right, the roofing and stuff just right, because I wanted to be kind of a little open in here, but I've got all these edges and stuff that are showing, and I can't really do much with that, so it is what it is. I will try to fix it up at a later time. But yeah, so as you come into the queue line, you will notice it overlooks the lines that are waiting to get on the station right there, which is something that I kind of wanted to do. So then you will go through here, and actually we will probably get a good glimpse of the, excuse me, ladies. I haven't put, yes, I know, I haven't put railings on this side yet. All right, it's fine. It is what it is. It's not OSHA approved just yet, but it will be. So yeah, and as you kind of walk down through there, you can see the defining element of the coaster, which is interlocking loops. We'll get another look at that here in just a second. I'm probably going to put like a screen mesh up here to keep people from, like, you know, jumping off or something like that. Most likely it's probably what I'll do. But yeah, so then they will come down here, and then they will get in line and wait. So let's take a look. Let's zoom out. Now that we've seen the entrance, we've seen the station building, we've seen all of that, let's take a look at the actual coaster. So Mountain Twister is a classic aero coaster. It was built about right around the time of Loch Ness Monster and Orient Express and those two. There was only 2 coasters with interlocking loops, and I'm going to say this was the 3rd coaster with interlocking loops. As everyone knows, Aero is known for designing whatever the park wants. They didn't really kind of have any particular kind of things that they really did. It was mostly like, if the park wants it, they will try to design it. Hence why we ended up, excuse me while I yawned, because it's a thing. It's my signature, yawning during a video. It's a signature thing. This is kind of why we ended up with Dragonfire, because Busch Gardens wanted a B&M coaster, but B&M was too busy, so they went to Aero, and Aero tried to do an Aero coaster in the B&M style, and it didn't work out. So therefore, I'm kind of okay with this layout, because even though it's not traditional kind of Aero coaster layout, I still like it. It's a little compact, and I'm okay with that too. But there were certain things that I wanted to get into the design, and I had to figure out a way to do it, and that was the interlocking loops. The interlocking loops was the main element that it had to have. That was something I'd planned on for the entire time. The other thing is, I'm a big fan, as you guys know, of Kings Island, and I'm a big fan of you know, kind of this the way the Batwing element works on Vortex, where it's got this kind of like little look over, like a little looky-loo, kind of where it's kind of down into the ground. And you'll notice I do this a lot in a lot of my coaster designs. I will try to put viewing areas of certain things. The last coaster I did, El Diablo, also had something very similar to this. So I guess you could say this is my Aero coaster signature. Much like when I do wooden coasters, I always have to do the rose bow. This is kind of my Aero thing here. So, but I really wanted to play around with interlocking loops. It's something that you don't see a whole lot of people do, and I really like the idea of that. So this is kind of going to be, we'll say this is kind of a new area down here. We have the swings and stuff, which we'll get to those later. That's not important right now at this moment. But, you know, we'll have like some walking areas and stuff down in here, and some more stuff. But this will be part of the newer area of the park that wasn't actually done when this coaster was. I kind of want to say that originally maybe this park had a coaster very similar to Cliffhanger at Ghost Town in the Sky that was here before. And then, you know, as the park started to grow, they needed something with more excitement. So we ended up with Mountain Twister here, or whatever it will be called in the future. It does, one of the things I had to do, I hated doing it. I wasn't a fan of it. I'm still not a fan of it. I don't like it. But I had to do a second lift hill to get back up to the station. It's just the way that the design worked. Loch Ness Monster has a second lift hill. Of course, the second lift hill is before you actually get to the second loop. So, again, I had to make some caveats, whatever that word is, to get this to actually work the way I wanted it to. But I'm very happy with the design in general. I've redone it a couple of times. I've stretched some things out. I've made the corkscrews a little more looser, just like we did on El Diablo. And one thing that we have that you guys who have been watching on the Twitch stream never saw before, I did talk about doing it, but I didn't do it until this morning. I added the mid-course brake rod right over here. So originally this was just, it kind of come up and went into a circle, and then back down, very much similar to how this side is. So it kind of goes up and then down and around, and then it goes up and then back down around. But I thought this was going to be the best place to add the mid-course brake run. So it will come up, it will hit the mid-course brake run, travel back down, over an airtime hill, right in front of the interlocking loops, and in between the batwing and loops. And then it goes into the corkscrews before it goes back over to the lift hill, taking you back up to the station. So, there you have it, guys. I want to introduce you to the newest coaster of Silverwood Park. Mountain Twister, as it is so far called. I don't know if that's going to change or not. I did get some interesting ride idea names or ride name ideas from Wolf Tenor on my Twitter just a little bit before I actually started to like film this. He suggested, one of the ones he suggested was Geronimo, and that totally makes sense because it is on the side of a cliff. But I don't know if I want to go with a Indian type name like that. At least not for this. It might be a good idea for maybe for something else. Maybe in the park I may save that for maybe a drop tower or something like that. But I think I'm okay with Mountain Twister. I almost called it Mountain Sidewinder or just Sidewinder, but I've used that name before on a coaster in Whitaker Lake, so I didn't want to reuse the name. But all right, well anyway, you guys let me know what you think here of this coaster for the park. If you have any other ride names, please don't be silly. Actually, like be creative and serious with some names. And if you guys have any thoughts on a good name, let me know. This is a good view right here too of the interlocking loops. So I'm hoping to get the path to kind of go up through here, and I want to try to get some nice views all around it. Which originally, oh look, floating trees. Originally, weren't here back when the park actually built the coasters. So it is what it is. Or maybe it was. Maybe it was here when they rebuilt it. We don't know yet. But I don't think they would have added this part of the coaster thing back here. Much like how Dollywood has grown over the years and has like put connecting valleys and stuff, like areas that connect two different parts of the park around. I feel like that's kind of what we're doing here as well. We are just kind of connecting the two areas around. Like originally there was the top of the mountain with an entry plaza, then it grew to the left and it grew to the right, and then it grew, around further, and then ended up, with an interconnecting part back there to the back. This is probably, my second favorite part of this coaster in all is I love this little area up here. And I think by the time we're done with everything, this is going to look really good up here. And, of course, like I said, I did end up adding the little walkway as an afterthought to kind of get back up and forth there. Obviously, it's not handicap accessible, but, that's what we have the other area down here for. And we are starting to get more guests up here as well, which is something that was kind of iffy on. I was like, why is nobody riding this coaster? Come to find out, guys, I figured out why nobody was really riding the coaster. I forgot to set the price of the coaster for free, so that's why they weren't coming up here. They weren't going to pay $10 after having to get all the way up here to the top of the mountain just to ride that coaster when they had other things that were free. So after I fixed the free section, that is kind of when they started coming back here to ride it more. So I'm giving you kind of a pre-look at the top of the mountain up here right now. I don't know if I've ever showcased this or not. I think I did a little bit. I know I've done it on my live streams a few times, but I don't think I've actually showcased any of this up here. So this is the top of the chairlift. Like you see, we now actually have people who are riding the chairlift up here, so that's kind of cool. They're also going to ride it back down as well. And this is how they get up here, other than having paths and stuff around. But all of this is like, none of this is really done yet. So this is all going to look really good once I start getting all the little fixtures and all the buildings and stuff up here. There's a lot of trees that I placed in a lot of areas just to try to do for filming that probably won't be here once we actually start adding more buildings. There's no bathroom up here yet. There's no shops up here yet. There's no restaurants up here yet. There's no quick serve food places. Nothing of that nature up here yet. This is literally just some rides up here and the coaster to maybe get the people up here. So As you can see, though, Silverwood is definitely adding to its roster of awesome creations and awesome coasters and awesome rides. So I can't wait to work even more on this. I don't know. I think probably next weekend, you guys, next Sunday, most likely you will see a POV for this one down here. And then also I'll probably maybe try to do a POV of the Mountain Twister as well, if that's the name. I'll finalize the name before the end of the weekend. Oh, look. Aw, two goth sweethearts come to the park. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for me here in Silverwood Park. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. I think I'll actually go, it's a little hot here in the park today. I think I'll go cool off over at our River Rapids ride. But in the meantime, wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below and click on the bell to stay on top of all my new videos and live streaming events here on YouTube. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the names you see on the right for their support through donations, Patreon, and through Twitch subs. If you would like to join their ranks and you are able, you can do so by clicking on any of those links in the video description down below. No worries though, if you don't like giving away money like that, you can still support the channel by purchasing games or anything through Greenman Gaming, through Humble Bundle, or through Amazon by clicking on my links and making your purchase. A little bit of that goes towards me to support the channel. If you still can't get enough of me, you can always check me out live on twitch.tv and stay up to date with me on Twitter as well. Now that's going to be it, but I can't say thank you enough for all your support here on the channel. Wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you later.